Dinosaur Adventure Land in lovely Lenox, Alabama. They hit water today and finished off the well. They had to drill 365 feet. $13,875. Anyway, we got a sample of all the soil going down every 15 feet. We're going to make a display for our science center of what they drilled through. Got down 300 feet and hit seashells. Who'd have thunk it? I think maybe there was a flood in the days of Noah. Anyway, tonight we'll be in John chapter 8, the woman taken in adultery. Amazing story here. John chapter 8, January 28th, 2024. We're on Rumble and Odyssey and a whole bunch of places. If they shut us off on one, go to one of the other ones, okay? They just seem to like to play with us over anything. The atheists always turn us in for anything they can find. Of course, they don't turn themselves in for violations of the channel.
Well, the underwear one was really hilarious because you look on YouTube and I mean, there's underwear on everything you look at. You look at a beach and there's going to be underwear all over the place.
And it was laying on the table. Took a picture of the marijuana.
Silliness. Huh? Immaturity and silliness on there.
Silliness. What is that?
Silliness.
Oh, silliness. Okay. Anyway, John chapter 8. If you want to join our Genesis Baptist Church, you can help us out. Stay open for free. Old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating Baptist Church, where the Bible is true and evolution is stupid. We're straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, in the itty-bitty town of Lenox, right there. Okay. Let's see. Help us stay open. Join our 777 club. Oh, there we go. You're going to have to go on the phone again, huh, brother?
Yeah.
Have to TikTok or something. Look at that. It says 1, 2, no, backwards, 3, 2, 1. I guess we're dead. No, live. Okay. Hi, Mrs. Hovind. Let me get it over here. I get this thing out of the way. Doesn't it like this live TV? Hi. Okay. We're going to be in John chapter 8. You can help us stay open for free. Become a member of our 777 club. So I like what you're doing. I'm going to support you as my missionary to the blind and the dumb. Those who believe they came from a rock. Okay. If you have any questions about the support, call Sandra right here, extension 1, 855 BIG-DINO, extension 1. So Dr.Dino.com is our website. And let's see. We've been open for a long time. People come from all over the place. If you love the Lord, want to help us, great, please do. Okay, tonight, John chapter 8, the woman taken in adultery. On the first Sunday of the month, somebody said, Brother Hovind, since it's the first time you'll be singing this year, I have a special request. Would you please sing Up on the Mountain? I knew what they meant. Okay, I get lots of requests, but I sing anyway. Or if you don't want that one, sing Way Down Upon the Swanee River. That's in Georgia, and they couldn't hear me from there. That's what they wanted. I know that, okay? Then yesterday, they said, if not, would you please sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, please? I just got another one today. Now, Brother Hovind, would you please sing Solo? Solo, we can't hear you. It hurts, honey, I'm telling you, okay? There's John chapter 8, there's a song written about this story many years ago. Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. So here's the words. I'm going to turn the music on by this group in the Cuba Sec. I don't know who they are or where they're from, but I enjoyed it, okay? I'm going to start it up here and then go back to the words. Honey, you ready for this?
I am, and they're very fast, so we don't come in right. By the crowd of worshipers, sorry for their sin, was the love for wanderer rudely brought in. Scribes came and Pharisees, anxious to see what the meek Nazarene's verdict would be. They told of her wanderings, making each flaw, spoke of her punishment, quoting the law, riding upon the ground sadly and slow, but he unheedingly, head bending low. I condemn thee, precious words divine, from the lips of mercy, like the sweetest chime. Wonderful words of Jesus, sing them o'er and o'er. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. Still cried the Pharisees, pray, Master, pray. What shall we do with her? What dost thou say? Then said he unrebukingly, let the first stone come from a sinless hand, hence and alone. cheeks flushing with the shame, turning about, and from his presence walking slowly out. Then saw we standing there, head bending low, he who the world despised, bade her sin no more. Neither do I condemn thee, precious words divine, from the lips of mercy, like the sweetest chime. Wonderful words of Jesus, sing them o'er and o'er. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. Spoke he most tenderly, pray, woman, pray. Hast thou no accuser, nay, master, nay. Neither do I condemn thee, soul sick and sore. Go forth, I pardon thee, go and sin no more. Condemn thee, precious words divine, from the lips of mercy, like the sweetest chime. Wonderful words of Jesus, sing them o'er and o'er. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. I condemn thee, precious words divine, from the lips of mercy, like the sweetest chime. Wonderful words of Jesus, sing them o'er and o'er. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more.
Amen. That'll be the message tonight. John chapter 8. Thank you, Mrs. Hovind. All right. Okay, let's see. Where are we at here? We got to push this button over here, then this button. No, that happens to me every time, brother. We're in the wrong one. John. Okay, now slide number 953. Enter. John chapter 8. I got it. Look at that. Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives. This mountain is mentioned quite a bit in the Bible, the Mount of Olives. You know why they call it that? They grow olives on it. Yeah. Hence called the Mount of Olives. Mount of Olives is right east of Jerusalem, just about a mile. Okay, there it is, the Mount of Olives. Actually, three parts to it, three summits to it, three bumps called the lower, middle, and upper Mount of Olives summit. Okay, and yes, there are olive trees on the Mount of Olives, really, really old olive trees. Some say they're from the time of Christ, 2,000 years ago. I don't know. I don't get into that argument. I don't care. Okay, there's also a huge cemetery on the side of the Mount of Olives. Whole bunch of people buried there. Whole bunch of people. From the top of the Mount of Olives, you can see nearly all of Jerusalem. Just look down over the whole city. Mount of Olives is mentioned quite a few times in the Bible. The first time it's mentioned is in the book of Zechariah, way at the end of the Bible, end of the Old Testament. His feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley. And the half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and the half of it toward the south. So it's going to crack over this way. The Mount of Olives is going to crack east and west and move north and south and make a valley. Actually, it's going to make the Dead Sea come to life. Yeah, a lot of prophecies. We'll see that happens later. Anyway, all the rest of the mentions of the Mount of Olives are in the New Testament. Jesus went to the Mount of Olives quite a few times. It's in Matthew 21, Matthew 24, Matthew 26. He gave the discourse on what's going to happen for the end of time on the Mount of Olives. I covered that in my chart that I made in my book about what on earth is about to happen. At the end of Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, Jesus sat on the Mount of Olives, and the disciples, when are you coming back, and what's the sign we should watch for? And he tells them all about it. That's in my chart and my book and my video series, What on Earth is About to Happen, for Heaven's Sake. You can get the whole thing, 22 hours or 21 hours for $100 on Dr.Dino.com. What's going to happen? The Bible tells us what's going to happen. But the Mount of Olives is mentioned all a bunch of places. He stayed there some nights. Jesus stayed there on the Mount of Olives. There's two of me over here. Is that big of me? No, two. Never mind. Okay. He went to the Mount of Olives quite a few times. So, and early in the morning, he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. So he's just holding a Bible study in the temple. That's what the temple is for, okay? He's holding it. And the scribes and Pharisees, these guys never give up. The scribes were the guys, their full-time job was writing out copies of the Bible. scribe, like the word prescribe, inscribe, subscribe, to write. It means to write. So the scribes, their job was making copies of the Bible. They'd sit there all day long with the original scroll and a new piece of parchment beside them and a feather and an ink well, and they dip it in and write a few words. And so these guys really knew the Bible well. That's what they did full time. Copy it. They didn't have printing press back then or copy machine. You had to handwrite a copy. So then they'd write these copies of the Bible and spread it all over. So the Pharisees were the guys who thought they were sinless. They were the priests. They knew everything. You don't dare question them. They were scholars, okay? They had a PhD from someplace, okay? And they brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they interrupt his Bible study to bring this woman in. They say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses commanded in the law, commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. They're not looking for anything except to find something against Jesus. Joe, how many people do that on their channels, try to find something against Hovind, something against creationists? And you miss one word and they'll jump all over it, okay? One word. They miss the whole point of everything else. These guys, their full-time job is watching Jesus find something that he does wrong so we can justify killing him. They want to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote upon the ground, as though he heard them not. So they bring this woman in the middle of his Bible study, throw her down, say, Jesus, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Jesus just stoops down and starts writing on the ground. Like he didn't hear him. And when they continued asking, he lifted up himself. I like that one. And said, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And when they heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, they went out one by one, beginning at the eldest. Now that's interesting. See, the longer you live, the more you realize you can't walk on water either. And you're a sinner too, okay? And you folks on TikTok, hi. Did I start it? I guess it is going, okay. Yeah, just keep living. You'll find out you're not perfect either, okay? Even until the last. So they started with the oldest. Drop their rock and turn, quietly walk away. Finally, Jesus was left alone and the woman standing in the midst. Left alone. See, he'd never sinned. He could stand there. He could have thrown a stone. But when Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. That's what the song is about. Wait a minute. Now, Jesus talked about condemning quite a few times in the Bible. The red letters here is the red letter edition, Jesus speaking. Condemn. He knew how to condemn people. So this woman is there in front of him. He gets down, bends down, and writes on the ground. I wonder, what did Jesus write in the dust? I don't know, but here's Hovind theory, okay? Joseph, do you ever get wild ideas 2 a.m, like, oh, hey, I get up at 2 a.m. and work on my sermons here. Oh, I wonder what he wrote. I bet he wrote down, hey, guys, where's Rabbi Jones, the man you caught her with? I mean, didn't they say taken in adultery in the very act? Doesn't that take 2? How come they didn't bring the man? Oh, he's part of their lodge. Can't bring him in. He's part of the lodge. Where's Rabbi Jones? And they're watching Jesus write this stuff, and they're elbowing one another, saying, oh, no, he knows. Rabbi John, remember Miss Marty on 4th Street 7 years ago? What if he wrote that on the ground? Hey, Rabbi James, can we go see the pictures you have hidden in your closet behind the sandals, please? He knows everything. I mean, like everything. He knows everything you've ever thought about. Hey, Rabbi Bob, you and Maggie aren't getting married till October. Can we have her come tell us what you did last week? I don't know what he wrote on the ground. Nobody knows. But it was something that made the older ones think, oh, no, I can't throw a rock at her. And the longer you live, the more you realize you better quit picking on other people's sins and worry about yourself, okay? Okay, students, what can we learn? Jesus was just teaching a Bible study in the temple when the religious leaders interrupted him. They put her right in the middle. They said she was caught in the act. Jesus didn't get involved in the emotions and the scandals that scandals often bring. Usually when there's a scandal like that, everybody panics. Wow. Imagine your preacher is preaching Sunday morning, and somebody drags a woman in, puts her up in front of the altar and says, hey, this woman, this is your church secretary. She was taken in adultery. And they interrupt the service to do that. Jesus didn't get involved in the emotions. Oh, wow. Stop the service, everybody. Let's hold a deacon's meeting. Let's fix this. No. They didn't bring the man. That's interesting. The older ones were the first to admit they're sinners too. CBE, I'm not sure who that is. They did a great commentary on it. Here's Jesus' response. He stooped down and said nothing. He didn't ask for more information. He didn't put up his hands, palms out, say, whoa, slow down, I need more information. Nor did he begin preaching hellfire and brimstone. We expect him to talk, say something, anything. Nope, he just wrote on the ground. The Pharisees kept badgering him with questions. Finally, Jesus stood up and delivered his legendary line, he that's without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Immediately, Jesus stooped down again and continued writing until every accuser had left. Jesus seemed unconcerned with the woman's sexual behavior, especially compared to the Pharisees who brought her in. Now see, the taking of a life, i.e. murder, is a serious thing in just about every culture. Almost all cultures have some kind of law about taking somebody else's life. They've got laws about it, first-degree murder, second-degree murder, etc. Was it an accident? Was it intentional? Was it premeditated? There's also quite a few laws about the giving of life. There are rules about who can have sex with who to produce babies. That's how babies are made. So the taking of life is serious, and the giving of life is serious. That's why adultery is a serious sin, fornication, premarital sex, homosexuality, sex with children. Isn't it amazing? Those who think it's okay to have sex, same-sex marriage, say it's bad to have sex with a child, and it is. But so's the former. They don't get it. So yes, this giving of life is serious. God created the ability to do it and the desire to do it, and God put a few rules down in his word about it, okay? We know Jesus is righteous. He didn't hide from confrontation, nor did he allow improper and incomplete labels to be applied to what was wrong. We can deduce then that Jesus would have agreed adultery is sinful. However, in this text, Jesus didn't even mention her alleged sin to the men nor to her. Some guy named girl, I don't know if it's a boy, Lynn Japinga, Lynn's comments on it. I don't know which pronoun to give to that one. Okay. Jesus seems to understand that much of what looked like sexual sin was actually a woman being taken advantage of and mistreated. Now, could it be that some political leader who had coerced her or bribed her or, threatened her into this act just so they could bring her in before Jesus? I don't know. Women get mistreated. Bad things happen all the time. It's horrible. They're the weaker sex. In contrast to common practices of his time, Jesus was not afraid of women. He did not view them as a temptress. He respected them as full human beings. It should strike us that Jesus did not speak to the woman as an individual until the crowd dispersed. He didn't shame her in front of everybody. Wait until everybody's gone. He says, hey, woman, nobody's condemned you. I imagine the sound stones beginning to drop on the tiles of the temple court, one by one. Jesus and the woman were left alone. He waited. See, there's appropriate times to talk about things, not in front of everybody, okay? The silence must have been awkward and deafening at that moment, while the woman stood still and Jesus was stooped down, drawing in the dust. What should she do? Was she allowed to, should she say thank you or simply back away quietly? Before she committed to any response, Jesus stood again and said, woman, where are they? Has no man condemned you? She was a person now. Jesus turned her from a thing to a person merely by asking her a question about her condition. How many of you have ever done something dumb and the people around you, maybe it's family, maybe it's the law, they treat you like a thing instead of like a person? You ever been in that situation? He cleared the crowd so as not to embarrass her further while getting to the truth. Jesus asked her no detailed questions regarding the real story or her side of things. He didn't say, okay, lady, let's hear your side. What happened here? He questioned her privately, but it was only to reveal an evident truth. At her simple reply, "No man, Lord," he added his 2 cents. "Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more." Susanna Larry reminds us, regardless of her story and how she came to be at that unfortunate scene that day, Jesus' response is not to rebuke her or humiliate her. Some interpreters see Jesus offering the group of Pharisees the same offer. He later makes to the woman self-reflection and changed behavior at the realization of sin. When you realize, whoa, I'm a sinner too, changes everything. Jesus used this opportunity. He simply said, okay, he didn't say she shouldn't be stoned. She should have been. He said, whoever has never sinned, you cast the first stone. What a question, what a thing to say. Any of you have never sinned in the room here? Anybody never sinned? Okay, I can't put my hand up. Okay, put your hand down, Bobby. Okay. What if Jesus had pronounced her guilty and worthy to be stoned? Would it change our understanding of God or the gospel? Most likely we would see Jesus as upholding the principles of the law and drawing boundaries around what is and was not acceptable behavior. He could have done that. However, because Jesus is different than any other man, this story expands and transforms our understanding of the good news. Now, it is not only the woman who is offered an invitation to enter into grace, or even the group of men with stones. It's me and you. We can all have his forgiveness. As long as we're alive, scandals will abound. We should expect them. However, the call to follow Jesus demands we emulate his life and character, and it comes with the guarantee that when we give it our very best, we will transform slowly but surely. Jesus reveals his risky stance of solidarity with people on the margins of society. You know, some people have committed a sin 30 years ago in their life, and people hold it over their head for the rest of their life. You can never get that label off, can you? You can with Jesus. You got somebody giving you a hard time over something from 50 years ago. They're treating you like a thing, not a person. Jesus wants you in his family, okay? Jesus does not assume that the dominant narrative being told about a person's life is the narrative the person would tell. This is what makes Jesus scandalous. This is the gospel, the transformation of death into life. And I would dare argue that the gospel is more scandalous than adultery and more life-giving than the law ever dared to be. Forgiveness. I think Jesus talked a whole lot about forgiveness. Forgive. Whole bunch. Is this you? Do you need God's forgiveness for your sin? Have you ever asked him for it? How about right now? 55 years ago, this February, in a couple of weeks, be my spiritual birthday, I said, Lord, I am a sinner. I've broken your laws. I'm guilty. But I believe you died for me. I believe you rose from the dead. Would you please forgive me? Would you please come live in my heart and save me right now? That was it. That's what I prayed. February 9th, 69. And a seed got planted. It was amazing. Something started growing inside. Would you like something to start growing inside you to make you a whole new person? Invite Jesus to come in. You say, Brother Hovind, you don't know what I've done. Jesus does. Knows everything. He knows more stuff than you can remember about what you've done. And if you'll ask him, he'll save you and forgive you. That's the wonderful message of the cross. God himself, the creator of the universe, came down, lived a perfect, flawless life, and said, now I will let them kill me. I'll be your sacrifice. He allowed them to kill him, a really horrible way to die, and then rose from the dead and said, now, I'll pay for your sins if you'll ask me. What an offer. What are you waiting for? Why don't you make today, January 22nd, your spiritual birthday? Or whenever you watch this video, why don't you say, Lord, I'd like you to come into my heart and forgive me and save me. Would you please save me? It's that simple. Salvation has to be simple, or else dumb people couldn't get saved. And there's some dumb people out there. I've met them. Yeah, met them. Okay. Anybody, ask him to forgive you and save you. Is that you? He's writing on the ground. I don't know. Think about it. Pray about it. Okay. Questions or comments? Short Bible study tonight. We'll quit. Any more there, brother? Are you teaching Billy how to run all that? Everything disappeared. Push a different button. Billy, whatever you did, push a different one.
So someone asked, is that your wife? And then I said, yes. And then we saw her. He said, holy smokes, she's hot.
I knew that already. I've been reading the writings of Dr. John, of John the Apostle. They taught a pre-trib rapture. You think so? I disagree. Just wondering what you think about that. I know you believe it's mid or post. I definitely post-trib. See, there are several different theories. There is a period of time that I think everybody agrees in the Bible, from Daniel chapter 9 and other places. There is a 7-year period called the period of tribulation, the 70th week of Daniel, representing 7 years. Many people started teaching in 1830 because a 15-year-old girl in Scotland had a dream about it. That's where it all started, a 15-year-old girl's dream. She said, we get raptured out before the tribulation. This is baloney, but that's what I believed. I was taught that. That's what the Schofield Bible teaches, Dake Study Bible, Thompson Chain. There's a 7-year period. In the middle of that period is the temple is desolated. The abomination of desolation is set up. That's talked about in Daniel 8, Daniel 9, Daniel 11, 12, Matthew 24. I got them all on my chart. You can get the chart for $10. Okay. Some people teach we get raptured out in the middle of the tribulation, called mid-trib. Okay. So there's pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib. We are raptured out after the tribulation when the sun and the moon go dark. That's what Jesus said in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. Read it for yourself. I'm embarrassed. It took me a long time to find that. Okay. I'm a little slow, but I got it. Okay. Then there comes a time of God's wrath. See, we're raptured out before the wrath of God falls. That's where people confuse. They confuse wrath and tribulation. They're not the same. Tribulation is what the world does to us. Jesus said you're going to have it. Ask the Chinese Christians if they're having tribulation right now. Yeah. Ask the North Korean Christians what it's like to be a Christian in North Korea. Okay. Or how about Iran? How'd you like to be a Bible-believing Christian in Iran or Iraq or Yemen? Huh? We talk about tribulation. We're a bunch of softies over here, folks. We don't know what it is. They know. For the last 2,000 years, people have known. But Americans think, oh, wow, we don't get persecuted. Well, not yet, but it might come. Then the time of God's wrath comes in the day of the Lord. I spent zillions of hours researching this, gathering all the Bible verses, the rapture versus the second advent, the chart, $10. Tell you what, get it, take it home, make a copy of it, send it back. We'll give you $10 back, minus the cost of shipping. I would like everybody to understand we're here for the tribulation. And Jesus said a very haunting verse in Luke 18:8. When the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Questions never answered. Could it be it's going to get so bad that nobody is still alive serving the Lord? Maybe nobody goes up in the rapture, or very few. I think it's going to get bad, brother, real bad. Okay, more questions. So, how many dinosaur fossils on top of the ground? Well, it'd be unlikely for any fossils to be on top of the ground, unless the ground is eroded, washed away. You know, sometimes things erode and wash away and expose a fossil. I think that's happened with dinosaurs in the Sahara Desert. The wind blows and all of a sudden, whoa, there's dinosaur bones sticking up. But they were buried in order to form a fossil. Then over the last 4,400 years, you know, things happen. Wind erosion, water erosion exposes them. So they're formed underground, I think, without exception. Okay? Okay, let's see. Oh, I got a bunch over here too. Let's see.
Thoughts on predestination?
Predestination, that whole idea that tulip Calvinism is crazy. God's already decided he wants everybody saved. That he's decided. Now, everybody hasn't decided they want to be saved, but he wants everybody. He's not willing that any should perish. That idea of predestination is baloney. Okay? Okay, let's see. Human theater. I found Jesus 1 year and 2 months ago. I am born again. I know by prayers answered real. Very good. Amen. The day you accept Christ becomes your spiritual birthday. Jesus said in John chapter 3, you have to be born again to go to heaven. And you have to be. So if you don't have 2 birthdays, see, if you have 1 birthday, you're going to die twice. If you have 2 birthdays, you're only going to die once, and maybe not at all. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's see. Shared live. Do you believe in dinosaurs? Does the Pope wear a dress? Yes. I look like a dinosaur's on my shirt right here. Okay. Yeah, Dinosaur Adventure Land. Our website, Dr.Dino.com. Our phone number, 855 BIG-DINO. Dinosaurs were big lizards that lived with Adam and Eve. Did not live millions of years ago. The Bible says before the flood came, the people lived to be 900 years old. Read Genesis chapter 5. The dates are all right there. These people are living to be 900. After the flood, you can pick up the dates in Genesis chapter 11. The people lived to be 400, 200, 100. Something changed. We cover all that on video number 2 of my seminar series. What happened? Why did they live to be 900? Why don't we live to be 900? Well, it's because we die. Okay. There's probably more to it than that. But get my video series, $50 for the whole thing, 18 hours. And video 2, how did they live to be 900? Reptiles never stopped growing. Dinosaurs were big lizards that lived with Adam and Eve. Noah took them on the ark. You say, come on, Hovind, dinosaurs on the ark, they're kind of big, aren't they? Well, no, this is going to be complicated. The big ones were big, but the little ones were little. And Noah was 600 years old when he went on that boat. I bet he was smart enough to figure out, I don't have to bring the biggest ones. How about bring 2 babies? Just be sure to get a pink one and a blue one. There's all kinds of reasons to bring babies of everything on the ark. They're smaller, they eat less, they poop less, they're tougher, they can bounce around and get up. Kids fall down and bounce and get up and keep running. Adults fall down and break or lay there for a while. Okay. Babies are tougher, okay? And after the flood's over, they're going to live longer to produce more babies, and that's why you're bringing them. Of course, he'd bring babies of everything on the ark. He'd bring reptiles, lizards, and they would grow to be dinosaurs if they could live to be 900. Okay? I'm not saying all lizards today represent a dinosaur from back then. Probably some total species have gone extinct. Extinction would be the opposite of evolution. Okay, any more here, brother? Let's see. Shared live, deep dinosaurs. Followed the live. I am Jason Joseph. Hi, Jason Joseph. Let's see. What are your thoughts on predestination? It's wrong. Okay. Okay, any more? They're all over the place here, brother. Thank you. Come visit us, Dinosaur Adventure Land, Lenox, Alabama, straight north of Pensacola. It's all free. 25 cabins. You can come stay for a day or 2, and we'll put you to work. You know what our next big project is, Billy? Rebuild the bridge across the lake. Titus and I went over that this morning. Did you have a plan to do it? Nah, we just start. It ends up somewhere. Okay. Thank you, folks. See you tomorrow night. We'll get into a little more of John chapter 8, the next story in that chapter. See you then. Bye.